appointed branding consultant join our set. Stoute has enjoyed major success in music, entertainment, advertising, and marketing. He's worked with superstars like Nas, as well as some of the biggest brands in business. One of his first stops as the Knicks' new branding consultant was on our show yesterday, and he explained what his role and goals for the franchise would be.
They got some young superstars. You see R.J. Barrett, Mitch Robinson. They got something to work with. And getting a coach in there, ultimately getting a coach and a coaching staff that's going to help develop the team. That's what I expect to happen so that we can actually get to what you expect from a New York team.
All right, the Knicks released a statement yesterday after Stoute's appearance on the show saying, while Steve Stoute is a valued contributor to the Knicks' marketing and branding efforts, he does not speak on behalf of the New York Knicks personnel and basketball operations. Any decision regarding the operations of the team will be made by the new president of the New York Knicks. Now, Stoute also made the following statement yesterday after his appearance, quote, "In my excitement to defend the Knicks on live TV today, I inadvertently insinuated about Knicks personnel. I look forward to working with the Knicks management to elevate the great Knicks brand moving forward." So, guys, all three of us were here for the show yesterday. Stephen A., I'll start with you. Was Stoute out of line with any of his comments on the show?
He was, and I think he realizes that because when he spoke about the coach, remember I brought up Mark Jackson and talking about how you needed a voice, et cetera, et cetera. I didn't anticipate that he would elaborate on that. So he recognizes that he didn't mean to sit up there and throw Coach Miller under the bus per se. But you know what? Listen, at the end of the day, we all know what time it is. Miller's there on an interim basis. There will be a new coach in the New York Knicks organization next season. Stoute may not have, he should not have spoken on that, but damn it, I would have, because it's obvious that that is exactly what's going to happen. And if it's a secret in the eyes of Dolan, it's the worst kept secret in the modern American era. As far as I'm concerned, there will be a new coach in New York City for the Knicks next season, and it will not be Coach Miller. Miller needs to plan on that accordingly and make his necessary plans. Number two, I think the New York Knicks as an organization has proven once again to be pathetic because they were quick to highlight what Steve Stoute's role is not, reacting to public perception. Once again, this is the one thing that James Dolan simply has not captured. He has not realized this. When people look at Oakley, as Max religiously points to, when people look at him throwing a fan out, when people look at him reacting to the boos and ultimately deciding to get rid of Steve Mills because of chants of Dolan and how he should sell the team, once again, it gives the perception that you are reacting to public pressure and public perception all the damn time. And you simply can't come along or come across as being that way when you're the man for the New York Knicks. And if James Dolan is true to form, Steve Stoute could be in a world of trouble simply because in James Dolan's eyes, if you felt the need to release that statement, Max, as on behalf of the New York Knicks, to highlight what Steve Stoute's role will not be and is not within the organization. If you know anything about James Dolan, he's ticked off. He's not happy right now. And usually when he gets that way, bodies fall. Somebody, figuratively speaking, heads roll. That's the way it goes in the Dolan era, or that's the way it has gone. And so who knows? We've got to keep our eyes on Steve Stoute to see what role, if any, he will play in the Knicks organization moving forward. Clearly, whether it's Leon Rose, who's still trying to negotiate and work out a deal, or somebody else, but I believe it'll be Leon Rose, or, the bottom line is that they're going to be the ones that make the decision about who the head coach is, who the next GM is, et cetera, et cetera. But we all know it's going to be done by committee. We all know it's not going to be one person that's going to make all of these decisions. So it's no secret there. It's just that Steve Stoute and his zest, his excitement, et cetera, speaking about being that marketing, branding guy for the New York Knicks and having a say. When it came to the coach, he spoke out of turn, and that's what really riled Dolan up from my understanding. He was really uncomfortable with what Steve Stoute had to say about there possibly needing to be a new coach.
Dolan. First of all, was Steve Stoute out of pocket? Look, his main mistake was he came on this show thinking he was going to spin us. First Take is not that show. Trust me. Like he came out talking about the Knicks are the #1 brand in basketball. No. So I had to check that because it's not even close. The Knicks are the most valuable franchise. They're the most valuable franchise in basketball, mainly because most teams are real estate deals, and New York has the most expensive real estate. And in terms of TV money, it's by far the biggest local market. But the New York Knicks are not the #1 brand in basketball. That's the Los Angeles Lakers, and there are many other teams before the Knicks. So he spun that. Even when he tried to say Mitch Robinson and R.J. Barrett were superstars, there wasn't even enough time to check all the spin. Of course, they're not superstars. I like Robinson. He's a nice player.
I didn't even hear that line, Max. I missed that one. Yeah. I didn't even remember hearing that.
R.J. Barrett is a potentially really good player, but I don't see any even potential superstars on this team. So, like, that was really his mistake, was coming on and trying to spin us. That's not going to work. Now, what you're seeing now from the Knicks, and you just hit on it, Stephen A., is the reason they will not have success while Dolan owns the team. What do I always say? A fish rots how? From the head down. And what we have here is a rotten fish, and it starts with the head. James Dolan wants to live, in my opinion, in a bubble where he can live out his fantasies. That's why he pays rock bands so he can open for them. You don't get there on your merit. You have to pay to open for a band. So these people, these poor people who pay good money to watch actually successful bands are subjected to him, on the card. Come on, man. That's one. You see that in other ways, too. He gets some bad media. Heads must roll at the Garden. He starts to because his cage is rattled. Charles Oakley doesn't like the fact that he owns the team, so he escorts him from the Garden. A fan has a sign, sell the team. Dolan, since he had him removed, saying, well, he disturbed our fan policy. He violated fan policy. He was disturbing people. Nah, Jim, he wasn't disturbing anyone. He was fine. He didn't violate any policy. He just said he wants you to sell the team because you're a terrible owner. It's the same reason why it was suspected and widely reported that he had a burner account. One of the tweets on that account was saying how Jim Dolan is the person everyone wishes he could be. Well, among the reasons people suspect, I'm sure, that that's a burner account is because no one thinks that except Jim Dolan. And I find it, frankly, sad if the case is that was his burner account. There's no way to know that. But I would find it sad that someone would feel the need to say that on a burner account because no one else is saying it except the toadies who you pay. Listen, you can't buy respect. He is not respected. Mm-hmm. He's rich. Well, he is feared by people in his organization because he controls their financial
you're right on the money.
Futures. But he's not respected, and that's what bothers Jim Dolan, in my opinion.
He's definitely feared by some, obviously. There is a lack of respect. There is no denying that. And the bottom line is this. Here's the reality of the situation, and this is what Dolan missed with his public statement. As long as you remind people of the perception that they already have, that it is you, Dolan, who is making management decisions, branding doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all because everybody's going to be looking at you. The whole purpose of Steve Stoute's existence was to give the impression, at least, that somebody other than you would take over the imagery of the New York Knicks, and then ultimately basketball people will come in the mix and we would handle things that way. That was the perception. Steve, you got to remember, and in fairness, and in the interest of full disclosure, listen, Steve Stoute wanted to come on. Steve Stoute asked to come on First Take. That's why he was on there, because obviously he's a music mogul. He's a brand and marketing dude. He wasn't, he wasn't synonymous with basketball. He might have done some things, but we didn't know about it. But he wanted to come on First Take. That's what he wanted to do. In the end, what it comes down to is this. As a Knicks fan, which he says he is, me knowing who I am, knowing who you once were before you betrayed us all and went to the Los Angeles Lakers, Max. Let's understand something here. When we look at, when us as New York Knicks fans, speaking for myself, we know how desolate this situation is, how bad and destitute it really, really is. It's just an embarrassment of epic proportions.
Stephen A,
so if Leon Rose could come in there and change it, if he could get William Wesley, Worldwide West up in there, if they could get Kiki Vandeweghe, John Calipari, Rod Strickland, I don't give a damn who it is. Well, whoever could get players, get them. But in the end, still in all, what it's going to come down to is this. As long as Dolan still has this insatiable appetite to react to public perception as quickly and as petulantly as he does, you're going to hear the same stuff.
Stephen A.
It's just inescapable.
I'm going to shock you now, okay? It's not impossible that Dolan can turn it around. You know, this is anyone who's gotten sober.
I didn't say it's impossible.
As he has, by the way, knows that you can take stock of yourself. You can try to make things better. Every day is a new day to do that. He has certain qualities that people like a lot, like he's very loyal to some people who have worked for him.
He's incredibly loyal.
Right. And that's a good quality. It's not too late for him to go to Charles Oakley publicly and apologize, for example. To take stock of it. By the way, even the fact that he likes to play music is good. It says good things about him. It doesn't mean necessarily you're a good person because you like to play music. But there are things to like about everybody, including Dolan. And he has a chance still. He's not that old a guy. He has a chance still to earn people's respect. But he's not going to intimidate people into it. And if he follows the course he's on, he will not succeed in doing it.
Two things I want to say. Number one, Dolan is renowned for his loyalty. To those who are loyal to him, he's incredibly loyal. Number one. And number two, I must confess this, Roz, on national television. As a black man, this man, James Dolan, I'll give him credit for this. He looks out for a lot of black folks. He gives a lot of black folks opportunities. He truly does. It's just that he's got thin skin and can't take personal criticism. He's got to man up and toughen up his skin in that regard more than anything else.
Never
and I think he'll be fine.
All right, guys.
It's not too late.
When it comes to rebranding, though, there is nothing cooler or sexier than winning. And I think that will be the bottom line. Let's get it back for the Knicks. All right, we got to take a break on this conversation. We've got more NFL debate later in the show when Teddy Bruschi joins us. We'll debate the best possible replacements for Dak Prescott if Jerry Jones decides to go in a different direction. That is Vernon Davis in the green room. He's been called an Iron Man of the NFL, played 14 years in the league, and probably could have played a few more. We'll ask him about his career and much more after this quick commercial break. Nice flex, yeah.